Hola Madridistas, welcome back to another episode of Let's Be Real podcast. Um, an unimpressive win, to be honest. I'm not gonna lie, it wasn't great to watch. Wasn't great to watch for the neutrals either. I'm pretty sure. Um, Arandina had something to cheer about at the end, which rightfully angered a lot of our own fans, including myself. The way they scored and the very fact that they scored was kind of a bit much, especially at the end. But I guess the players already were in mentally into the next round, so we could probably nail it down to that. But in general, the performances from so many of the players were disjointed. They really didn't have any sort of cohesion, which is to be expected because this is a blend of the first team and some of the young lads. So it was never going to look as fluid as you had expect from the first team. But yeah, man. Before further ado, welcome my esteemed panel, Jacob and Farooq. I'll come to you first, Jacob. Quick thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, it's not just about all of these players playing together for the first time. It's also that the pitch was of a really bad quality. Like you could just tell the
Mm.
passes weren't flowing. The players couldn't really dribble well. I feel like the only player who could dribble decently was Brahim, maybe Arta as well. But yeah, a few positives to take from the game, but more negatives than positive than we like to see for these kinds of games. But it's okay. I'm happy that we almost came through unscathed because I just went on Twitter and saw that Kamavinga actually went back to the dressing room with the doctor. So I don't know what's wrong with him. Hopefully he's fine.
He had a few slips, right? Like
Yeah.
while doing the game, and he didn't look impressive at all. Kamavinga was very, very poor, in my opinion. But yeah, man, Farooq, quick thoughts. What are your initial takeaways from the game?
Yeah, the point with this kind of games is just you have to go and win because while I would actually disagree with the notion that it's because of a blend of players that haven't played together. I think even if we play the first 11, it's going to be the same thing because that's the thing with these games. You go to the games, it's horseshit pitch. It's a very smaller pitch. Like basically you can look at the quality of the players you're playing against, and I just kind of feel like this is a team that I play Sunday football with. You understand? Like that's the
Yeah,
the quality of what they are, and you can even see some of the fouls that they make. Like it's like, come on, like who makes this foul at this level of football? So I just kind of feel like this is the game that
yeah,
it's not a game like everyone knows like I love to watch free flowing football, but even I know that these games is just go to win them. Like there is no issue of how you play, how you win, whatever. The whole just point is that you just don't get upset. That's like you don't get an upset in these games, but you just have to find a way to just move on. And obviously the positive from this game, I think, if there is anything, it's just the return of Arda Güler and the show of initiative that he showed today. That yeah, okay, like he can be what the hype has suggested.
yeah, man. Big up the chat. Big up every single one of you over here. I guess let's straightly dive into what was one of the brightest talking points for tonight was Arda Güler. And so how many of you were actually expecting him to start? Like I wasn't, right? I'm pretty sure nobody really expected him to start, especially like what Farooq mentioned, like going into a fourth division side, to play away. We all know how their pitches would look like, and even if it was a pitch in okay condition, they would make sure it's dry. It isn't watered enough so that um, they can really slow down our rhythm and whatnot, which isn't ideal, especially for someone who's returning from injury and whatnot. But I'll come to you, right, Farooq. You spoke about how much initiative he showed. Walk us through what you saw from Arda in his first 60 or so minutes. You know, in his debut. Is this kind of what we saw when we spoke to you weren't here, but when we spoke to Lara Karaja and when we were hyped about what he would bring to the table. Do you think that from what you saw tonight, like he can be someone who is a valuable addition to you know, to the formula of success that we can expect in the rest of the calendar year.
Yeah, definitely. I think if you've always, like if you see the little, glimpse of what he had done at Fenerbahce, that it's like at Fenerbahce he basically was like, the chief playmaker of the team, someone who received the ball and takes the ball, and you wonder like would that be able to translate into a bigger audience at Real Madrid. And obviously what we've seen in just obviously it's 60 minutes and against it's basically against a team of non-professional footballers. But anyways, you still see that you can only play what's in front of you. And one thing we can see at least is that every time Real Madrid has the ball, when we're trying to push through, Arda is trying to make himself available. He's not hiding somewhere. He's coming, getting the ball. Either it's deep, either it's in attack, switching from the right to the left or moving from the left to the right. He's making himself available. He's asking for the balls. And I think this can just be summarized in one single piece of move we saw with the free kick where he hit the bar. The ball was with Dani Ceballos and he came and he grabbed the ball away. Okay, like I personally believe that seniority should always matter. Like whatever has been discussed should always flow with the team. Like you shouldn't be going and taking the ball from the senior players. But one positive thing about that is that it shows that this is someone who isn't liking to put himself out there, who isn't liking to show himself. He's not someone who's gonna hide. Even with the set pieces as well. You could see how he was coordinating with Dani Ceballos to take set piece either on the right or on the left. So if there's anything like it shows that Arda Güler is someone who is like, yeah, I'm here to play this ball. Like I'm not someone who's gonna come and hide. And from the glimpse of what he showed, like he has the talent to back it up.
Jacob Arda Güler.
Yeah, for me, yeah, all of the initiative, the good, nice touches. Apart from that, what impressed me was, his willingness to take the ball, his movement off the ball as well. So I even saw a bit of like the shades of James Rodriguez with the type of runs that he was trying to make with and trying to get into scoring positions. So if he can, keep this level up, same way in La Liga as well, feel like we almost have like a new signing in the January transfer window. And yeah, super impressed with him. For me, in the first half, he was the only player trying to combine with other players and trying to actually make the teamwork happen. Everyone else was just selfish, trying to just dribble the whole team and score. So yeah, that's my thoughts on him.
I was a bit disappointed by that as well, but I guess some of it is a second string team that we picked to start the game, which is
For
expected.
fuck's sake, like on Arda Güler's wing, the left back is like his full-time job is being a fishmonger. The guy who was taking all the throw-ins, Pesca.
Right.
So
Right.
yeah, that's a type of opposition that we were playing today, and then it was just encouraging that even in these type of situations, Arda is like always looking to make things happen.
And this pass to, I think it was it to Brahim? He basically cut open through like three lines of Arandina players. It was brilliant to watch. Some of his touches, like you mentioned, his willingness to be available as an option, also tracking back when needed. I mean, Arda Güler showed so many of the signs that we discussed in detail with Lara Karajan. If you guys haven't watched that episode, I would recommend you to go back and watch it. I guess it was in June or July. I think it was in July, right? Somewhere in July. We did a transfer special, with Lara Karajan, who is the head of transfer market Turkey. And yeah, man, like I even texted her, today. I told her this is finally happening. And she mentioned it to me that she was traveling, she wouldn't be able to watch it and blah blah blah. So yeah, I only have good things to tell her because she asked me, please tell me, how he played, and I was just telling her, I was just praying. This is the fourth division team that we're going away to. I hope the pitches are going to be okay, and he doesn't pick up another injury. He doesn't have any sort of a step back again, which would hinder his confidence. But yeah, man, like you guys mentioned, whatever we saw from Arda in a vacuum today shouldn't be blown out of proportion. The moment, like I've been just going through Instagram and Twitter, and whenever people mention that he had a great game, people are like, oh, quick to shut that down. Oh, that's the fourth division side you guys played. Why are you guys hyping this guy up? He hasn't even shown you anything at the top level. So that's the thing. Like we gotta tread this very carefully. in a way that we don't put too much pressure on him. I guess Carlo did manage him well, and this is kind of the right way to ease him in. Like I told you guys in the group chat, when the team sheet was announced, I wasn't really sure if this was the battleground that Arda should be thrown into, straight away, coming back from an injury. But I guess a trial by fire is better than easing him in a game where we are winning by 3 or 4 goals to nil. So I guess this is gonna do wonders for his confidence, man. And yeah, and it was good to see that the people actually, again, it's a given at the top level. There should be a sense of harmony, but again, the teammates really were keen to play with him, play around him. And yeah, he looks like someone who can be a focal point for our side. And not gonna lie, super impressed, like what Farouk and Jacob mentioned. And there's a few comments regarding Arda. Let me just quickly get into it. Big up every single one of you in the chat. Ashik, Madrid TV, big up yourself. Madrid TV was mentioning Arda Güler, what a special talent. Yeah, Milan was also mentioning Arda is clearly special. I guess we gotta take it game by game and kind of ease him in and try to see how much his fitness entails for the rest of the season, and how much we can rely on him. That's really a question that needs to be answered by time itself, and I guess we gotta wait and see. Quickly on to Brahim Jacob. Brahim Diaz again, basically showcasing why so many people actually had faith in bringing him back, and incorporating into the setup where we clearly didn't know which direction Brahim as a player would go when he came back to the side. And yet again, he steps up, keeps proving people wrong that how much of an invaluable talent he is.
Exactly. Like I think in the transfer window, when we were discussing transfers, I was quick to even judge Brahim, saying like he's probably not going to have any impact on this team. But today, like, and throughout the season, and especially today, without Brahim, I think we would have clearly went into extra time, because the initiative was only coming from him, and we looked dangerous whenever he was trying to take on the whole team by himself, uh, which he probably shouldn't have on some occasions. But it is understandable given the level of the opposition that he was facing. But yeah, a pre-assist with the penalty, winning the penalty, an actual assist to Rodrigo, and a nice goal as well. Overall, like probably the man
A
of the
brilliant
match.
strike.
Yeah,
Great strike, great touch to bring it down, and then boom. I didn't expect that to go in, but yeah, such a sweet strike to actually watch on. But yeah, man, what I like about Brahim, he reminds me of one of my favorite players growing up, which is Di Maria. How he basically just strike fear into opposition just with aggression. That's something that some of the modern dribblers, in my opinion, lack a bit. Something that I would wish Vinicius is more like. Who is just relentless. Brahim is that guy. He looks small. He looks like he's going nowhere, but all of a sudden he's just forcing the issue, which I really, really think is an underrated asset of his. But yeah, man, Farouk, Brahim Diaz, you were very keen to point out that he's gonna be the first name of the bench, and he's gonna have a much bigger impact than we all predicted, during the beginning of the season. But does he keep surprising you game by game?
Yeah, definitely. I think it's no surprise again that like the match winner for this game also is Brian again, because this is just the thing. As you likely pointed, like the persistence with Brian is, that's just the thing. Like, and luckily for us, like now the output is there, because I mean, based on what I've heard from Milan fans, the thing is that you do not like Brahim. Okay, he will keep working, but sometimes he's like a headless chicken. Hard work and no output. You understand? So it's just a waste of time, because you just have someone who is running up and down the field, but there is no output from that. But I think for some, somehow this year he has been able to, consistently, provide an output that matches, the work rate that he has. And I think that's just a thing, as you mentioned, that's never say die attitude, like, which you cited with Angel Di Maria as well. I think that's one of the things. And I think Brahim is just, further and further, inching closer to the first team, honestly.
100%, 100%. Um, I guess Brahim, we would get a lot more time to actually break down his impact on the side, because he's only going to go from strength to strength regarding how much how high basically he is in the pecking order. So it's only a matter of time we discuss about him again. Someone I think we should cast a spotlight on is, in my opinion, Nico Paz again, who very very slender chances of him getting any more minutes. Come the end of the season. But again, tonight, yeah, he was selfish on that one occasion where Arda Güler was basically running through a goal, and he decided to have a pop himself, which horribly backfired. But Jacob Nikopaz, every time he steps on the pitch, he has really you know tried to take the game to the opposition, try to combine pops up in different areas. I'm the one thing that I like about Nico Pass is how comfortable he is playing deep as well, how he is super capable going forward as well.
Yeah, but for this game, man, like I wasn't like truly impressed with him. I feel like
Hmm.
he was being too selfish, like not just with the chances and his wayward strikes, but just in the overall thing. Like he was just trying to do too much, and he, if you try to do those things on the pitch, you better make it happen, right? Otherwise, you're gonna get sticked. And I feel like most of what he did not come off. He did have a few nice moments with Vinicius Tobias on the right, but overall, like I would say, I expected more from him in this game, and his other teammates just outshone him.
Wouldn't you say that's basically a victim of every player who's trying to impress? In basically like 1% of a chance they might or might not get again.
But I don't know, man. I feel like still you should have at least try to make things happen and just not try to do the impossible, all the time.
Mm, mm.
And yeah, like
You could
uh,
say that.
yeah, but in the case of Brahim, like when he took on players, he actually was able to do that. But with Nico Pass, he was
Brahim
just
has the experience of top flight football for
yeah, yeah, yeah.
three point five
Exactly.
four
Like,
years.
so if you have the confidence to do that, you probably should make it happen. And Nico Pass just couldn't. So that's why I wasn't too impressed. Maybe another game, I would be more impressed because he clearly has the talent. It's just that it didn't come off today.
Mm. Farouk, Vinicius Tobias, he was slated so hard, some parts of last year where basically people were crying out for Real Madrid to send him back. He was on loan with an option to buy, and people were questioning, why was he actually bought in? Because I kind of was a bit, shocked by, how horrible he was. When people asked me to, pay close attention to him, I kind of watched the playoff semifinals and whatnot, and Vinicius Tobias didn't look great. Not gonna lie, he lacked conviction. He lacked that confidence that I thought he would have. As a high flying wing back, but in isolation tonight, in my personal opinion, he had a very good game. But Farouk, is Vinicius Tobias someone that we can look forward to having as a backup for Danny Carvajal in the near future?
I think so far, like I haven't seen enough to actually make a claim for that, and I can understand
Mhm.
the reason why people are like you want to send him back. But based on the performance today, I think he was more than decent. Honestly, he. But then again, we always have to pinpoint that okay, like this is fourth tier opposition, like this is even a higher level than what the Castilla players. If I'm not mistaken, they're in the third division, right? Something
Yeah,
like that. So
yeah.
like this is a higher level than that. So I just kind of think like will he be enough for this? I really really doubt it, honestly. But I felt like today if this was an audition, at least he has like passing grades, and we can get to see what happened if we get lucky in the draws again. You can get to see him again, but I will really be really shocked if I were to see Tobias actually getting some game in La Liga or in a Champions League game.
Right. Who else? Who else? Who else?
Career.
Who else? Kareem, take the reign. I wasn't particularly impressed, but he had a few neat little moments, especially where he was kind of under pressure from that long ball, and he basically had to chest it down and dribble himself out of pressure and see the ball to safety. But yeah, man, Jacob, someone we can rely upon, especially with the club's decision to not sign a centre back.
I wouldn't say we can totally rely on him. Like he did have some sketchy moments. He did get beaten a couple of times, which he shouldn't have. But then overall, I would say a really nice outing for him especially because I was impressed with his passing out of the back. He was very neat in possession compared to his other teammates, and yeah, basically that. And he just looked solid, and the players weren't really able to take him on, except when it was in transition and whatnot. So yeah, overall, I would say a decent outing for him. Like for me personally, I would say just from the Castilla players, he was the best among them. I wasn't like too impressed with this guy
with the rest. Yeah.
with the rest, especially like Vinicius Tobias. I think he did really well in the final third, but he gave away too many silly balls. He got beaten by his man a couple of times as well when he probably shouldn't have. So I don't think that we can rely on him defensively. But when there are La
Mhm.
Liga games where we're basically attacking the opposition, trying to win a goal. So that's where he can actually come in. So I think he has already 4 assists for Castilla this season. He can put a decent ball in. So in those situations, I feel like he can make a contribution. But if we need to defend a lead or something, I don't think he can be relied upon.
Let's get to a few of the comments quickly. Madrid TV was mentioning, I don't like him playing at striker, though he needs to play as a 10 or a wide man. I think he's talking about Brahim. Mm. But even when like on paper he starts out at striker, he doesn't really play as a striker, does he? Right? He drops into the hole, or like you mentioned, he basically drifts out wide. That's the only way he can impact games. Like being um being out there, doing a striker's shift isn't really what Brahim is about. Um, that guy King was saying Tobias was class. I agree with you. I'm not gonna lie. Um, Matter TV was mentioning Nicopas is a good player, but underperformed today. Again, sharing Jacob's sentiment. But you guys are probably right. I'm just maybe a bit too starved of enough of Nico Paz's presence, because I like what he brings to the table, and I really hope that he can step it up a couple of notches. But again, I would kind of attribute it to someone who is dying to impress, in a sense. um Matter TV was also mentioning Tobias was class today, but made also a few mistakes and few misplaced passes. But I agree, should be back up to Carvajal.
I mean, do we even
Yeah.
have any other choice, man? Like Lucas Vasquez is out for 3 weeks. So Nacho can't be played there because he needs to be there at centre back. So we don't have any other
Yeah.
right back options. So we might as well
I've
use
I've heard
Tobias.
some rumors circulating about Juan Lu, who I think is the Sevilla right back, or someone. Um, so I don't know how it's gonna go. Well, I don't think we can get Juan Lu, which I think is a very decent player. I've seen enough of him, and he's pretty well rounded. Again, I'm kind of a bit. It's a bit of a throwback seeing physically imposing wing backs, but yeah, I'm not too certain that if Sevilla would actually sell, especially them trying to stay alive in the league and not get relegated. I'm not sure how that's going to turn out, but yeah, man. Who else should we touch upon, guys? I'm really running out of people to. Um,
There's,
Osselu.
man, the guy is just a meme, man. Like he. I mean, I'm happy he scored the penalty. We finally scored a penalty. Yeah, good for him.
Yeah,
But yeah, like that one of those chances that he missed was like really shocking. But overall, I feel like he did well considering everything.
barely had a touch the first 30 minutes. Remember, he was just basically strolling with basically no service. But yeah, some of his, like, I don't get it, right. Like the one thing I hate about the most, I can kind of forgive his misses, because he's not supposed to be lethal, right? Like he's your how do you put it? How do you put it? He's your rip off Samsung phone. It won't be as good as he's your Oppo phone, maybe, right? Like who would boast to have the specs of a giant killer, but really he isn't that guy. But it's sometimes his His overcomplication of a simple move. You just need to lay it off. Instead, he tries this improvised back heel, thinking there's someone's gonna just turn up, appare it, you know, just in the line of that pass, which never comes off. I've seen it so many times that I just know that it's one of his get out of jail card. Basically, when he has nowhere to go, he just flicks it behind him and just hopes that there'll be someone there. And I think more often than not, he just knows there won't be anyone there. He just turns back and basically, waves his arm around someone, basically insinuating, "Oh man, you should have made that run. You should have made that diagonal run." And yeah, I don't get it. Hoselu, this is what we get, right? Like we can't really expect much from Hoselu. Nacho, what is there to talk about? Should we blame him for the goal? Like, we should probably talk about Fran Garcia though, Farouk.
Yeah, definitely.
Again, going forward wasn't great. Defensively, we know he isn't great. Yeah, man. Fran Garcia, bro. Quick thoughts.
I kind of feel like it's one of those games actually. Like if we played with a team that had a bit more quality, like we would have been defensively exposed, because I think today showed that actually like our defense is just Tony Rudiger and everybody else. Honestly, like that's just one thing. Well, as I mentioned at the beginning, like one thing you can notice with this team is that they give you the vibe of like this is just your Sunday league team. Like this is a team you play kick about it on Sunday, and like they literally with all due respect, like there literally is no quality there, and so it's kind of shocking that defensively, like Frank Garcia is still being found out by such quality of footballers. So
Yeah.
that begs the question that okay, like if you come up in close situations, where Real Madrid are in close situations, like do you want Frank Garcia to actually honestly be the person that is defending to save the team? It's really shocking, and it's
Farouk, does Sane play right wing for Bayern or left wing, as of late? Does he play on the right, or does Gnabry play on the right?
I'm not sure, honestly.
I'm not sure. But imagine Sane facing Fran Garcia. Done. Finished.
You don't even need to go to Sane, man. I mean,
I'm just
exactly. I mean,
envisioning, what we're going to face in the Champions League.
I mean, the point is, even if we play Sociedad with how with the form of Kubo this year, like it's done, dusted, bro. Every 1v1 is a success for Kubo. That's what's going to be like. You don't even have to go to that level of play, honestly. Like even in the league, like it's there. I mean, even you can look at the white players of Girona or even Barcelona, just to name a few. Like it's going to be every 1v1 is going to be something about. It's really interesting, and I don't know. But again, as I said, like in my opinion, I don't want to read too much into things to be like other than the performance of Arda Güler, because he's coming back and this is the first time we're seeing him. Yeah. I don't want to read too much into anything, because like this was a game that I want to see. I had no expectations from. I just want to wake up and see, okay, Real Madrid won and move on. You understand? Like there is no. Even yesterday, I was saying to more like there is no need to watch the game, and more was like this is a game that has lost all over it. Something like this. So that's the thing. Like this is just a game that we just have to win and move on. Like how it's won, what's happened. Honestly, it's just isn't there, honestly. And if the goal happened, it came from the dribble against Fran, the own goal from Nacho. I actually really felt happy for them, because I feel like this is what football is about. It's Davids against Goliath, and you saw that they scored one goal, and it was like they won the World Cup for their fans. This is what football is all about. This is why we love this game. It doesn't really matter that they lost or anything, just the fun. It's a family affair. It's a weekend. You come in the night, and even at least you have something to enjoy. So yeah, I mean overall, I think it's we're gonna win. They got their goal, so it's all fair.
Ashik was mentioning Nacho. He scored. Maybe forget the details. He scored a goal. That's what matters. Ashik really,
But
yeah,
that's
Ashik.
Now with Nacho, like I think the thing is that the other one was a red card today. It's an own goal. Like I mean, since he's become captain, I kind of feel like there's been
a drop in levels. Yeah,
exactly. Normally in the previous years, I don't think I remember. Like for example, we know how he got the second yellow card. Like that was a very very stupid, second yellow card when he knows that we don't have defenders. Like if anything, like I would be like Nacho is a very sane person. Like okay, he's not the best person, but he's a very sane person. Okay, he can also be very. He can also be very, how can I say, like very rash sometimes, but like not to this level. You understand? So I don't know, like is that something that we need to start also thinking about? That okay, like our Mr. Reliable became the captain and he's no longer reliable anymore. I don't know.
That's a very very good question you pose. I guess we got to find out. But um, you remember how I was, right? Like I couldn't really fathom that he actually did that. It really blew my mind. Um, Jacob, I'll come to you, man. Pick your next route because basically I'm running out of options. To basically, well, I'll speak about Mario Martin again. I've always had this notion, and I'll so this is a good segue into how I feel about the number six position. Right, this diamond is good. It can work, and there's a reason why we are top of the league despite facing so many injuries. But that's La Liga, right? All due respect to some of the very well run clubs in Spain, and how they play proactive football, and somehow some don't play proactive football. All of that aside, in the Champions League against a side like City or against someone who's gonna really push us to the limit, we need a specialist DM, right? Me and Mo, we have had conversations regarding, Chouameni is better suited to playing six. Um, Kamavinga might. I mean, Kamavinga is more suited to playing six than Chouameni, and Chouameni is better, driving the ball forward and whatnot. This all just makes me realize that none of these guys can really excel. Like, after what Mo told me, and how I kind of paid more attention to what roles Kamavinga takes up on the pitch subconsciously, I feel like he is much more of a six than Chouameni. But even then, both of them, I don't think, doesn't have the reading of the game that Mario Martin does. This is again a caveat that he was playing against fourth division side. But Jacob, when he came on, you saw the man was really putting out fires like what Casemiro does. That's what I want from a DM. I think a guy like that is going to be the difference, just like it was last year. Imagine against City, if we had someone like Casemiro, we are never going 4-0 down. No chance. So, quick thought on Mario Martin, man. I'm super impressed with the guy. Like I really hope he gets a serious call up sometime soon. I just hope that's gonna be the difference that really pushes us towards a potential 15 Champions League title.
And just forget the Champions League title. I don't even think he's gonna feature in La Liga anytime soon. I saw the quality when he came on. He was taking up nice positions on the pitch. It allowed the rest of the midfielders to relax a bit, go higher up the pitch. He was able to do that single-handedly, and he was very neat in possession as well. I saw the tackles that he put in, but the thing is that he's an unproven talent, and I don't think the reason why we have this diamond is to actually take away a lot of that responsibility from that DM, right? So we can even afford to play Cruz at DM now because of the players and the midfielders around him. Bellingham helps out in defense. Valverde is always there. So if you have all of these players, I feel like you can actually get away with playing without a specialist DM. But it's just still visual thinking against top opposition. You would rather have them, but it's just the fact that having all of these marauding attacking players can potentially get us a goal and or two extra against these top teams. And with regards to like the Kamavinga question, yeah, I do see the reason why I prefer Chouameni playing a bit more up front is because I feel like the final ball is a bit lacking with Kamavinga, but Chouameni actually has it. He can put in a decent ball into the final third and actually get an assist.
And the more I see both of them, I think like Chouameni's anticipation of danger is way behind Kamavinga. Mo has a point. Farooq, do you agree with any of this? Like, what is your take on all of this? The sixth position, and how the dynamic is looking like going into round of 16 in the Champions League, and second half of the season.
I mean, I believe that what we have in the midfield is more than enough for the league, but in the Champions League, it's a different ball game. So I definitely do believe that our setup is imbalanced and it's going to be exploited by the bigger teams, in my opinion. But about the issue of a specialist DM, I do definitely think the midfield we have, the combination of the midfield we have, should be enough to combat the issues that you're going to face. Because the point is, if you have Chouameni that are playing alongside Kamavinga and alongside I'd come up in Toni Kroos, Fede Valverde, Jude Bellingham. I feel like this is a system that is meant to, rather than having a static specialist position, is a rotating door system. Okay, Chouameni is the guy there, but like he's being covered by both Kamavinga and Toni Kroos or Fede Valverde or something like that. It's not gonna be like a lone job. It's like a double pivot, but like with one of them being like a roaming, a second roaming pivot. For example, as we've seen when in the previous weeks, it's been Kroos and Fede Valverde being the double pivot where Kroos is sitting a bit deeper and Fede is roaming more. So I kind of feel like that should be enough. I don't think like that's enough in the league. Well, I think our just the imbalance in our squad like is so glaring that I think that the issue of the specialist six is the least of our worries. Honestly, I think like the attacking play is something that we need to worry more about, because I do think like when we play against top teams, we will have a lot of issues, and they will be able to exploit that lack of offensive output from our team.
Offensive output, I'm not sure, because like especially with I know our striker situation is kind of a bit of a dire, is in a bit of a dire situation, but I feel like the variety of depth we have is gonna be key, at least in the diamond, especially with guys like Arda and guys like Brahim. I think we can have some sort of an offensive output, but I completely get your grievances where without someone as good as Kareem, right? Someone as good as
it's not about someone as good as Kareem. The point is like you talk about the different patterns, but the point is like I don't remember any chances we have created in the matches. That's the thing. Like we go. I mean, I think I can't remember what was the match we played. The one was it Almeria? I can't remember. There was a match we played before the break, and then before Christmas, I think, was it? Or but yeah, it was. I can't remember anyways. Like
Probably Alaves.
you go into this.
Alaves.
Exactly. Alaves, for example, where was the single chance in that game? We talk about variety of chances. There is no chances in those games. You understand?
But there has been other instances where we created plenty of chances, like the Girona,
definitely.
like the Bilbao game.
Girona, Naples, Bilbao. Okay, we've played how many matches this season? It's about 20 matches, and we're counting matches on one hand finger, man. 5, 6, 7 matches out of 20. Do you think that's enough? And the point is, we talk about the likes of Brahim and whatever. I mean, you mentioned Arda. I don't think Arda is in the equation right now. I think like Arda is just someone that we have to wait and see like what his fitness look like, and then after that see what he can bring to the team. Because let's not forget, I always say this, like we always seem to forget that Arda actually hasn't played proper football for his life. He has played proper football for maybe just 3 to 6 months. Before that, he was a super sub, and then he came on and he became the talisman for Fenerbahce in the second half of the season, where he started a lot of games, and then he came to us. So basically, he's just like you mentioned with the Nico Paz and all those guys who are trying to impress. It's not like he has played proper football. And actually, if anyone follows the Turkish league, they would agree with me. With all due respect, the Turkish league is not a technical league. It's a very physical league. It's a very physical league that you just go there.
So he's going to obviously stand out, but there should be a reason why we signed him, right? I know he's young.
Of course.
He's raw, so.
All this young, every signing is a gamble, eventually. Like, of course,
yeah.
we have to trust, that Real Madrid, at least for the past 5, 6 years, have, made a lot of interesting young signings who have proven to be, whether it's Valverde, whether it's, it's Camavinga, Rodrigo, Vinicius, Bellingham, those guys. So they have credit in the bank for that. But I think, like, for Arda, we just have to wait and see, you understand? Because whether you like it or not, even Vinicius came here and he had to stay 2-3 years before he made it. Rodrigo came here, it was after one season that he was able to, do it. Fede Valverde after how many years? So, like, let's not try to get ahead of ourselves for Arda. But what I'm just saying about that is that I just don't see, the offensive output from Real Madrid, honestly. That's just the thing. Like, it's going to take a moment of individual brilliance. I don't know, from Vinicius, Bellingham, Rodrigo, whatever it is, maybe Brahim as well. But I just feel like our shortcoming in Europe is going to be the offensive output. Like, in the league, it's fine. You can always, scrap here and there. Even if you lose today, you win tomorrow, you're back at the top. You lose today, you win tomorrow. It's something that can be done. But when you come to Europe, I think it's just, it's more cutthroat and it's unforgiving in the sense that it's just.
I think let me remind you of something, right, Farouk? When we're playing top opposition, they're going to be so much more proactive and they're going to be a bit more open than the sides we face in La Liga, which is going to eventually create a lot more scoring avenues. I'm pretty sure. That's what I saw against Naples.
The point is that we played Barcelona and then we had to get out of jail by how many chances did we have against Barcelona? What was our XG against Barcelona? If you're talking about open expansive football, that's as much as it goes, Girona and Naples are the only teams that we have played this year has shown something. You understand? We go to Atletico Madrid as well. Atletico Madrid, every single cross was like a penalty, bro. Every cross was like a penalty. Like every cross was almost a goal. I mean, it's
The whole synergy of our setup, at the Metropolitano was out of sorts. It could contribute to that. I'm not making excuses for Carlo.
I think it's the only team that actually has been able to successfully exploit that. That's the thing. In my opinion, I think they have been the only team that have been successfully able to exploit that. That's just it. I think other teams have been unsuccessful in that. It's in the exploitation of that. That's just what I think about it. Like, and also like that's credit, not allowing them to exploit your weaknesses as well. That's just
I'm pretty sure, like just like you, the coaching staffs of our opponents, they're watching all these footages over and over again, pinpointing where our weaknesses are. So it is credit to Carlo and how our team has been defensively set up. After that, it speaks volumes. There's a reason that we are one of the best defensive sides in Europe. But going forward, I personally believe that we are going to find a lot more chances to score. Like the remaining question is like whether we would be able to finish those chances. Capitalize on potential openings and lapses our opponents will eventually make. That's the question, because we don't have a killer on our side. That's what bothers me so much. We don't have a guy.
You don't need a killer to win stuff, in my opinion. I mean, you just need to have those chances. As long as the chances are coming, I think you will end them. Because the point is, okay, like, yeah, you guys will argue they didn't win the UCL, but City won the treble, the domestic treble without a striker. They had 100 points without a striker, So these are things that, it's possible to. You just have to create those chances enough, in my opinion. But obviously, yeah, it's something that we have to wait and see.
Right. Jacob, any thoughts on this that you might want to add? And anything else from the game that we are kind of failing to cover, because I'm running out blank.
I don't know, man. Let's go through some comments, but can you guys figure this out? So Ashik says, let's be real, team. Remember these numbers: 15, 36, 21, and 13. Make sure to write them.
15 is the Champions League, 36 is the La Liga, and 21 is the Copa del Rey. I'm not sure about the 13. Is it the Super Copa España? I'm not sure. Might be, right?
He says you'll find out what they mean in May.
That's if we win all those titles. So that'll be insane.
Yeah.
That'll be insane. But yeah, not sure about the Champions League, man. And the Copa del Rey, you never know. Until we get to the semi-finals, I'm not sure, because we might face some underdog again, and we're finished. We have so many experiences to live off being beaten by lower division sides. Ashik was actually clapping back at Farouk against Atletico. Every cross was a goal, not almost. Qatar was abysmal with crosses, but Atleti is going to lose against us in the next meeting. We'll send them back. Right. Man. Over to you, Jacob. Anything else that we need to cover?
I wouldn't say no. How do you guys feel about Ceballos' performance? I feel like he took on the Toni Kroos role today. Like every attacking move was flowing.
I knew this was going to come up.
But he did decently well. Just he had some weird moments, like he always does. That's what you get from Ceballos.
Give me 1 second.
Sure.
I kind of actually feel like, I don't know, even like, the guy who was calling the match that I was watching as well was saying like, Dani Ceballos was his man of the match. And I kind of feel like maybe we have different understanding of what, football should look like. But I kind of feel like Dani Ceballos was underwhelming today, considering everything. That's my view of it. I kind of feel like, like when you look at the team, like, you want Dani Ceballos to be like the driver of the midfield. And it wasn't until, we got those 2 goals that he was able to freely express himself. And the point is, even when you throw, a youngster into the pitch when you're 2-0 up, he's gonna be able to control the game. Where you need to control is when that chaos is happening, when there's a lot of uncertainty. And I felt like in the first half, like, Dani Ceballos just wasn't there, in my opinion. So I kind of felt like let down by.
I kind of disagree with Farouk. He was available. He was decent. He was good in the first half. He still was creating something. But again, I'll come to you guys, the people who rate Dani Ceballos. Mo himself told me that he might be better against fourth div opposition back in 2021, Um, but he had to fight me, a couple of weeks back. Again, I'll go back to him. This is his level. Playing against part-time plumbers is what Danny Ceballos excels at. Sadly.
Oh boy. No, well, I feel like he gets some hot streaks, so I feel like when he is in form, we should probably play him when as come on as a sub and whatnot, but not at the other times.
Were you impressed? Were you impressed by his overall performance?
No, I feel like he was too negative sometimes when he could have maybe taken a bit more time, kept the ball, and passed it a bit more forward. Because what I was expecting was like Cruz's performance. Cruz is always looking forward, trying to needle those passes in, and it just didn't work out for Ceballos. He did give away the ball a couple of times, dangerously too.
He will have a role to play. When we need to rest players, ahead of a crucial Champions League tie and whatnot, he can start games and he'll keep things ticking.
Yeah.
I
And
wouldn't.
did you guys
I
notice
wouldn't.
the corners? Like every one of them was horrendous.
For the first corner, oh my goodness, I've written it down as well. First corner, what the fuck was that, Danny? Right? Like he couldn't clear the first man. Again, we are playing a 4 dev side, but yeah. And you saw like was that the last game or the game before where he was basically gifted a free kick, and you saw what Arda Güler did with his free kick from with his left foot as well, so yeah, man. Dennis Ceballos needs to put so much more on the plate for us to really have anything of substance to pick apart from. But yeah, Dennis Ceballos. Who else? Who else are we missing? Some of the subs we talked about. Mario Martin. Rodrigo had a goal. Yeah, neat finish. We almost forgot about him. I think it has become a norm, and this is basically a side quest for him against a 4th division side. It shouldn't be talked about much. Neat control, neat finish. But again, Brahim's persistence to run down wide and put in a decent ball in again proves the reason why he was the man of the match. Who else? Fede Valverde kept things neat and tidy. Nothing special. Who else are we missing? Are we missing a couple more subs?
I don't think so. We did not talk about Camavinga that much, but I don't think that he wants a lot. I'm just happy that he's back and just hopes that he's not injured again.
This was his first match from injury, right? Back from injury.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would cut him some slack, and he rightfully looked a bit rusty, and I was a bit surprised. But yeah, like a long way to go before he gets back his full fitness, and he's someone who relies on athleticism. So I wouldn't magnify too much of this performance in particular. That's pretty much it, right, Kepa? Farouk?
Alvaro also came on, which we did not expect. We were all saying that he's out of form. Carlos probably gonna forget him for the season. But it was surprising. He had a decent chance as well, but he just couldn't put it on target.
He runs around. He tries. He's someone that if Joselu wasn't here, I would really bag the drums on him getting a shot from Castilla. But yeah, from the people who have been watching Castilla a lot, I've been hearing that he has been struggling with injury, has been struggling with inconsistency regarding his form and whatnot. So I just hope he gets back to how he left the first team last year. Farouk, Kepa, anything to note?
No, man, I think there's nothing to talk about with Kepa, and like there was nothing you could have done with the with the goal and that. So I don't think I don't think he had any save to make throughout the match, right? Did he?
No.
He made one long range save. Forgot who it
basically
was.
straight into his hands.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly, man. Like, come on, like even I would shoot better than that, man. No, that's like,
yeah, Farouk, you wouldn't save that. You would.
Hey, we haven't seen Farouk play. We haven't seen Farouk play.
I would shoot better than that, man. I would shoot.
But yeah, he's 6'3". He's taller than Kepa, right? So I guess maybe.
Why do I feel like every day, every week I keep getting taller? Before I was 6 foot, now I'm 6'1", 6'2". Today I'm 6'3".
What? How tall are you? Basically, are you 6'1"?
Yeah.
Okay. Not so you kept the same height. So okay, I expect you to maybe keep that out, but still, Yeah, man. This doesn't really. I was praying to heavens, that Kepa shouldn't do much, should be kept the least busy as possible, so that the conversation shouldn't pop up. In I'm pretty sure they are overanalyzing this to give as much of a leeway for Kepa to come back in, because I'm pretty sure, man, Carlo and his staff, I don't think they really trust Lunin with the Champions League role, and they know the Champions League role is going to come down to who gets the continuity, who gets into rhythm and whatnot. So I'm like, I have this weird feeling that they have an agenda for Kepa. Oh, he has Champions League experience. He played with Chelsea, blah blah blah. For large periods. Even last year. So that might be in the equation, but I really hope Lunin, just gets the word of confidence, again and again. Yeah. Anything to add, boys, before we slowly wrap this up?
Yeah, I mean, Ashik had a comment, so he says, guys, please don't forget to give Mario Zagallo a shout out. 4 World Cups, first to win as a player and manager. He passed away, last surviving member of the 1958 Brazil team.
Mm. Um, pro- I mean, to comment on someone, that far back in history, you need a bit more of a know-how of what they actually did. But from what I read, he also won a World Cup as an assistant manager as well. So it's something pretty um, extraordinary, for one guy to be a part of so many big World Cup moments. And yeah, man. Rest in peace. I guess Mario Zagallo, he was way before my time. I can't really comment on what he really meant to football as a whole, but I've only heard great things about him. And yeah, that's a name that I heard while getting into football as well. So just puts it into perspective how big of a figure he was. And I saw all across social media, everyone from Kaká to Roberto Carlos to Real Madrid to every major legend, basically praising his achievements and his contributions to this game. So yeah,
Apart from that,
but yeah,
yeah,
boys.
I also
Mm,
read that, just considering the Leipzig game coming up, is Timo Werner actually leaving them for Tottenham?
yeah,
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 that would
yeah.
be a rough option.
Was Timo Werner even a big part of the new Leipzig team?
I don't
Was
think so,
he?
I
but
think
he's always performed well against us, right?
exactly. Yeah, that's the
Mm,
thing. That's the thing. That's the
mm,
thing.
that's a
I
plus.
mean, the
That's a
point is,
plus.
with Timo Werner, it's always about the things like even away from the goal, the thing that he does. So like you want to kind of try to avoid that someone that likes to create chaos. Whether it's whatever it is. So I think the departure of Timo is a positive because you can imagine in the second half if they're chasing the game or something like that, or if the game is in the balance, introducing someone with that ability. I mean, he's not gonna even he's not gonna score like that's one thing for sure, but you know that chaos that he creates, I think, is something that you want to avoid. So it's a positive for us, anyways.
6 month
But
loan
then,
for Spurs. I don't get
yeah,
it, but
but then they also got the midfielder from Naples for 25 million as well. I forgot his name. Like he's quite a solid player as well. So
who?
like Leipzig got the midfielder from Naples. I forgot his name. Like was it? It wasn't Elmas, right? I can't remember his name. Yeah, they
Elmas
bought
left
him.
for. Oh, I think it's Elmas. It's Elmas.
It was Elmas, right?
Elif Elmas. He's a
Yeah.
winger. He's not a midfielder though. Yeah, I think he's a winger. Um,
No.
but yeah,
Okay.
I'm a huge fan of Elmas, man. Really, really good player. Whenever I've seen him, he has been either as a sub or whenever he starts, he's super versatile. Has a good shot on him. Has a decent delivery. Um, pretty good player. And 25 million is a bit much, but still, I think it's a I think it's a step down from Napoli. Probably, um, chasing the paycheck and a bit more recognition. But still, yeah.
I mean, he is still only 24, I guess. So that's the kind
Mm,
of price you pay for a young midfielder.
yeah. Yeah, but for tonight, closing thoughts, Jacob.
I think that's fine. Like I'm like really looking forward to the Super Copa because all of our players are back. Most of them that we expected might take another month. They're back, so probably get them back to match fitness. See some golazos. I'm looking forward to this month.
The semi is on Wednesday, right?
Hmm.
Okay. Even though it's basically a non inconsequential trophy, it's a derby. We should be looking to win it. Um, a preview hopefully will be in the works. I had actually talked to Rajat a couple of weeks back. I'll remind him again. Hopefully Monday, yeah, Jacob.
Yeah, let's do it.
Mm, Farooq, closing thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, we went and we went out unscathed. At least we hoped. That's the important thing. And then now, as you mentioned, we go to Saudi Arabia to play a stupid thing, and then hopefully we don't get injured there. I mean, I really do hope we lose the derby and just come back, and forget about it. Like, because it's a waste of time. If we go there, we get injured, and our season gets fucked up even more. So I just don't like the idea of this stupid things. Why should you play a Super Cup of Spain in Saudi Arabia? Like, I understand the exposure. I want fans to watch, but there are certain things that shouldn't just, there are things that should remain when they should remain. Like everything's all about money. So yeah, honestly, that's just the thing, man. Let's hope that when things get rolling back, we have our players fully fit and ready to fight.
Yeah, I completely get Farouk's sentiment, but as I've mentioned before, it's such a great opportunity for everyday men to see their beloved clubs, and that's one thing I would give them credit for. But the only one thing you can really uh, pass them, let them buy for doing it in Saudi Arabia. But yeah, man, big up every single one of you in the chat. Big up every single one of you for turning up late game. I'm pretty sure it'll be way past midnight for a lot of you guys tuning in as well. Big up every single one of you who sends us messages. Our audio listeners as well. You are a big part of our journey, man. Not gonna lie, how much of an impact you guys make in our daily lives. When you mention how we accompany you in your daily lives, it's really something. Again, I say this every time because I just want to reiterate how big of um a realization it is, like something that we started as a passion project, something that we really started without much of an expectation, can really make a difference in people's lives. That's something that really motivates us, really strives us to be better, strives us to be so much more consistent. You know, like I mentioned before, how we kind of juggle uni and jobs and whatnot. So yeah, man, big up every single one of you. Big up our partners, Real Madrid Committee on Instagram. Go check them out. The link is in the description below. They run a brilliant fan page. Big up our team in Madrid. They'll be hopefully back to work from the home game against Almeria. After we come back from the Super Copa España, not the Copa del Rey. Through to the round of 16 of the Copa del Rey. The draw is on Monday, I guess. Hopefully, we don't get to face any lower div sides. That's my only prayer, because if we face someone a bit more decent, probably in the Segunda, we take it a bit more seriously, and we don't we avoid the chances of basically getting embarrassed and knocked out early on. But yeah, man, big up my co-hosts Jacob and Farouk for doing this every single day in day out. But until next time, people, Ala Madrid.
Hala Madrid.
Madrid.